All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking all about animal behavior assessments. If you're getting ready for the ACMBEH407 unit, this is for you. We're going to build that foundational toolkit you absolutely need to have in place before you even start. Let's get to it. So picture this. You step into the room and there's an animal waiting. At that exact moment, its entire future, well, it pretty much rests on your professional judgment. What happens next is up to you. The stakes are incredibly high. I mean, what you find, what you document, that's what decides if an animal is ready for a new home, or if it needs to see a vet for pain, or maybe even go into a special rehab program. There's just no room for guesswork here. Getting this right demands a solid, professional game plan, and that's what we're here to build. And it all starts right here. Key number 1, you have to be able to read the animal in front of you. This is where all your most important data comes from.
You know, reading an animal isn't some kind of superpower. It's a technical skill. You need to know species-specific body language, like the back of your hand. How a cat holds its ears is totally different from a dog, right? You got to tell the difference between what's normal, like a dog sniffing around a new room, and what's a red flag. You're also doing a quick check on their general health, and, this is a big one, making absolutely sure you've got the right animal. Every single one of these is a critical piece of the puzzle.
And this really requires a shift in how you think. That tiny flick of an ear, a tucked tail, that whale eye where you see the whites, those aren't just little details. They are the core evidence. They're the headline story, not the footnotes. How well you interpret this data determines how accurate your entire assessment will be. Okay, so you can read the animal. Awesome. But that data is only useful if you know how to actually record and analyze it properly. And that brings us right to key number 2. You've got to know your tools. Look, anyone can just follow a checklist, but a professional understands why that checklist is designed the way it is. What's this tool really good at? And maybe more importantly, what are its blind spots? A tool for assessing a potential family pet is going to look way different from one that's screening a dog for a working role. A real pro knows which tool to grab and, crucially, what that tool can't tell them. And this quote just nails the risk. I mean, what if your tool doesn't account for how a terrified animal might just shut down and look calm? You could make a massive, catastrophic mistake. So yeah, understanding the limits of your tools isn't just a good idea. It's absolutely non-negotiable. So you can read the animal and you know your tools. Key 3 is all about remembering that an assessment is just one snapshot in time. You have to check the context of that snapshot. Before you even start, you've got to ask yourself, is this animal even in a fit state to be assessed right now? Is it in pain? Is it totally exhausted after a long, scary transport? The behavior you see from an animal in serious distress is not who they really are. A huge part of your job is making that tough call. Do we go ahead? Do we wait? Or do we stop this assessment right now because the animal is clearly in pain or terrified? So let's be really clear here. Pushing forward with an assessment when an animal is compromised isn't just bad practice. It's unethical. The recommendations you make could be completely wrong, and that could lead to a really harmful outcome for the animal. That pre-assessment check, that's your ethical safeguard. Okay, let's move on to key 4, and this one is the absolute bedrock of all your documentation and decisions. Observe, don't infer. This slide just lays it out so clearly. On the left, you've got the cold, hard facts. Anybody in that room could agree, yep, the animal moved away. On the right, you have our interpretation, the story we tell about those facts. Seemed scared is a story. Your job is to record what's on the left, not what's on the right. And here's why that is so important. Your notes have to be a defensible record. A supervisor or a vet, they can't do anything with "he was sad," but they can absolutely work with lowered head, tucked tail. Objective records are what allow for professional review and collaboration. They create a clear chain of evidence for your final recommendation. This brings us to our final and maybe one of the most overlooked principles. Key number 5, protect yourself. And we're talking about more than just physical safety here. First, the physical part. Think of this as your pre-flight checklist. Every single time, before you interact, you check the area for hazards. You assess the risks from the animal and the environment. You get the right PPE on, and you commit to using low-stress handling. This is your first line of defense, every time. Now, here's what's really great. This unit explicitly says that your psychological health is a core competency. Making these high-stakes decisions over and over again for animals in distress, That takes a toll. Burnout is real and it compromises your judgment. Knowing your own emotional limits and having a plan to manage them is every bit as critical as knowing how to fit a muzzle correctly. So there we have it. Reading the animal, knowing your tools, checking the context, observing objectively, and protecting yourself. These aren't just things to memorize for an exam. They are the complete foundational mindset of a professional. They're what makes sure your work is ethical, defensible, and safe for you and for the animals. So we'll leave you with this question. These 5 keys, they unlock the door to sound professional practice. They give you the power to move past simple checklists and use true, informed judgment. The foundation is set. Now it's up to you to start building.